Hello and welcome to Capitol Review. I'm Mark Hall. President Donald Trump's Liberation Day slapping 60 countries with another round of tariffs. The president announced Wednesday that he would impose a 10% tariff on all imports, including 20% for European Union products to 52% on Chinese goods. He also took on a stance on foreign cars with a 25% tariff. Meanwhile, China responding back to the president's tariffs with 34% retaliatory tariff.
This is one of the most important days, in my opinion, in American history. It's our declaration of economic independence.
Oh, the news sending U.S. stocks plummeting this week. Virtually every sector suffering big losses, with U.S. financial markets barreling toward the biggest one-day drop since March of 2020. And joining us now, Dr. Todd Belt, a professor and director of political management program at George Washington University. Dr. Belt, welcome back to Capitol Review.
Thanks for having me on, Mark. It's great to be with you again.
We're always glad to have you. As you're well aware, President Trump recently implementing more tariffs. Your reaction?
Well, this is broader and deeper than we ever imagined. It hits a lot more countries and raises the tariffs a lot higher than anyone had actually predicted, with probably the exception of the tariffs on Mexico and Canada, which of course were already in existence. Anybody who's looking at their 401k and feeling the effects of the drop in the stock market is probably pretty concerned about what is going on, and certainly international markets are being disrupted. We had leaders of industry in China meeting with European leaders talking about how they might fill some of the gaps that they might feel from some of the tariffs influencing the loss of supply of products in the European Union. And so we know that if the United States is starting to close itself off to the world, this is a real big opportunity for China.
Oh, the president consistently says that we've been taken advantage of far too long as far as trade is concerned. How can these tariffs benefit us long term?
Well, what he always is saying is that these are taxes on other countries that they will pay to us. But of course, these are taxes that the United States consumer pays because, for the most part, it's the importer that pays it, and then the person who is selling to you has to raise their prices, ostensibly, in order to recoup their profit margins. And Donald Trump thinks that this will raise a lot of revenue and will be able to fund his tax cuts, which of course disproportionately help the wealthiest. So in a way, this is almost like a reverse Robin Hood, because people with lower incomes spend more of their income on goods and services and then the wealthiest, and they're the ones who are going to end up paying a higher marginal rate on these tariffs than the wealthiest. So it's taking some of the revenue from the less well-off and giving it in form of tax cuts to the best.
Can the tariffs have a long-term negative impact on our relationships with our allies, or is this really about the bottom line business? And business, of course, eventually things work out. Can President Trump, does he have an exit strategy here? What has to happen for him to remove these tariffs?
Well, Mark, you actually hit it right on the head that this is so much broader than just economics. When you talked about our allies, of course, we have the transatlantic alliance with NATO and our European allies that is under strain from the Trump administration, and they're already looking to acquire their military supplies from themselves and other manufacturers, and if the U.S. is going to be closed off to them. And we're also seeing other countries around the world looking to the Europeans to supply weaponry. Places like Canada are looking to do that. But there's also the issue of strategic integration as well as intelligence operations. We have what are called the Five Eyes, which is UK, Canada, US, New Zealand, and Australia. We share intelligence. This is going to put a strain on that. It can make the US more vulnerable in terms of security. But you also asked, how do we get out of this? And it's not clear right now. A lot of people thought that this was just Donald Trump going to be putting in specific tariffs to try to impact negotiations on other linked policy issues such as drugs and immigration, but this is much more broad-reaching than anybody had ever thought, and it doesn't really conform to that idea of specific chips that you want to play in negotiations.
Dr. Todd Belt, thank you so very much for joining us.
You got it. Great to be with you.